And now for something completely different. One thing no one is going to be surprised to hear is that I've been playing MMOs on and off for the last 20 years or so. Oh man, that's a lot of time. What are we doing with our lives? Well, to make a long story short, a certain Japanese director fell asleep at the wheel, and my former main game is experiencing a bit of a lapse in quality. Temporary, I'm sure. Anyways, this made me decide to return to one of my old reliables, Guild Wars 2. I'm not going to spend a lot of time describing it, because if you're watching this, you most likely know the basics already. Fast-paced action combat, horizontal progression, no monthly fees, you know the deal. Now, all videos I've made thus far focus on story summaries with gameplay criticism mixed in, but this time I decided to do something a little different. Mostly because I have this condition where I forcefully press Alt-Tab when someone starts talking. Bring back the skippable cutscenes, you cowards. Contrary to popular opinion, I didn't really feel overwhelmed at all when returning. I slowly kept building up from where I left off, accumulating gold, gear pieces, and completing story chapters. Investigating and adjusting to a new game is part of the fun. Reading wikis and old forums, watching old YouTube videos, all of it makes the experience better. I'm just weird that way. I was really enjoying my time back, so much that I didn't want to play any other game, and that's why I'm making this video. But one thing that really started to bother me was how during long events everyone just flies away, leaving me in the dust. And I decided that after so many years I was finally going to do something about it. And I know that some of you might be thinking, just do the Soto method. But convenience is not the point. The point is that I am going to take on this one particular challenge I always wanted to do, but was a little scared to. Also, I spent my last $20 on Gentil Wilds because I really wanted spears. This video is going to be half a guide, half a story on how I finally got my Skyscale. Before we start the series of quests, to make sure everything goes smoothly, we are going to have to do some Batman level prep here. Please note that I'm going to really focus on trying to spend as little money as possible and be as self-sufficient as possible. You don't have to do that. A lot of things can be made a lot easier by throwing gold at it. First, we need to finish all Living World Season 4 story episodes. Technically, we only need to finish 2 of them, but we are going to be traveling between every zone a lot, so you might as well clear the whole story anyway. And since we are around, be sure to unlock all 3 vendors in the Dragonfall map by completing these achievements. Basically, do 10 events in the forest area, 10 events on the burning area, and 10 events on the spooky area. Depending on the level of activity on the map, it's going to take a couple of play sessions. Just take your time. Also, I recommend that you have at least one character with a lot of waypoints on the core maps, because we are going to travel there often. Most of my alts leveled up eating books, so they don't really know their way around the world. Another recommendation is that you might want to install some kind of overlay pathing mod. I don't want to get too deep into it, this video is already long and there's plenty of guides to install Bleach HUD. The point is that it makes some items on collections easier to see, and it shows guiding paths to make jumping puzzles actually bearable for me. ArenaNet seems okay with it, so I'm okay with it. And you should also have the Springer and Jackal masteries complete, because without a flying mount, some places might be really hard to reach, and we are gonna need all the help we can get. Well, after that, you need to get a DeLorean and a flux capacitor, because you need to go 22 days into the past to get 22 charged quartz crystals. In case you don't know, to make them you have to take 25 quartz crystals to a place of power, and you can only do that once per daily reset. I always have a character parked on this spot in Queensdale to do it every day. These charge crystals are essential for the creation of important items we are going to need during the questline. One of those items is Skyscale food, 12 pieces to be more exact. You can craft them in the Mystic Toilet with the recipe on screen right now. But don't craft them yet, hold on to those materials. At the time of this recording, each piece of food can be bought on the trading post for over 5 gold. So if you decide to pay to make this go faster, be my guest. You are also going to need to craft a grow lamp. For this you're going to need to have a level 400 jeweler or a friend that can craft it for you. But if you're here, you probably have no friends. The materials for the lamp are on screen right now. And don't forget that if you're the one crafting this, you're going to need the recipe that is only sold by vendors on Drytop. So hopefully you have some geodes lying around to buy this. If you don't want to deal with any of that, a grow lamp costs almost 20 gold on the trading post. Don't expect you can escape farming items so easily. We are also going to need 250 of each map-exclusive material from Living World 4. These materials drop by doing events, from certain achievements, buying them from herd vendors, and you can also pick them up from the ground. And if you have the Icebrood Saga, you can buy them with Eternal Eyes and Karma. If you've been playing for a while, you might already have a decent stash of them, and if you don't, well, this might take a while. Also, you are going to need a small bunch of volatile magic and 500 trade contracts, which you can get pretty much anywhere in Path of Fire maps and Season 4 maps. I used to visit the Tomb of the Primeval Kings every day with all my characters, so I have contracts coming out of my ears. Finally, there's an unavoidable bare minimum cost of around 40 gold. What, you don't have enough? Just watch one of the many Make 6 Gorillion Gold in 3 nanoseconds videos. They are all over YouTube. Okay, I have a confession to make. Originally, this video was going to be way more in-depth, but the amount of things you have to pick up and do is so massive that it was unrealistic for me to finish in a reasonable amount of time. It would have been just me picking up stuff with calming music on the background, and that's not quite the video I wanted to make. I'm still gonna give some useful tips and point out some things that could be improved. Alright, once the final story mission for Living World Season 4 is done, we'll get mail from Gorrik to meet him at this point in the map. Once we talk to him, we can start this little adventure. Guild Wars 2 doesn't do quest logs. It's all managed from the achievement interface for some reason. This already can be pretty confusing, but still manageable. Later, when you have multiple nested achievements, things get out of hand really quickly. One would think that after over a decade, ArenaNet would have figured out something less cumbersome, but this will have to do.
Better than mood loot.
We'll only need 5 items for this collection. There's one of them on each of the 3 vendors in Dragonfall. That's what I told you to unlock them earlier. And the last 2 items are sold by the traveling Elonian merchant right next to Dragonfall's main waypoint.
Better than mood loot.
For this other collection, we had to pick up 21 scales that are somewhat hidden in Dragonfall. When I say hidden, I mean things like on the top of a tree branch, inside a small cave, on a hard-to-reach mountain top, things like that. It's not as hard or annoying as I thought it was going to be. For this one scale, I did make a fool of myself trying to use the Springer, but in reality you have to borrow one of the wild Skyscales and teleport to Pact Command. You can slowly climb up in altitude until you can reach the item. Nice practice for understanding how this mount works. Also, there are 3 particular scales that are located in places that will kill you. These can only be picked up in a small window of time after the Krakautoric map meta is complete. In my case, I was extremely lucky and I didn't have to wait very long. Usually the activity on this map is very high, so I don't think most people will have too much trouble with getting this done.
Better than mood loot.
When we return to Gorrik, new collections will open up. Get used to it, we're still many collections away from our new mount. This time we'll have to find 14 sick Skyscales and give them medicine. This is all pretty straightforward.
Ah, better than mood loot.
Once again, we go back to Gorrik for a new quest. This time we have to collect 21 eggs. If it makes you feel any better, this is the last collection that happens on this map. The best practice for almost every item is just to borrow a Skyscale whenever possible, but I'm so stubborn I wasted a lot of time trying to brute force my way with a Springer. This particular branch was driving me insane. I tried every possible way to jump there, including the nearby Oakheart, with no avail. At some point, some other player just stopped there. Is he mocking me? I think he's mocking me. You probably have spent plenty of time on the Dragonfall map, so you know it tends to teleport you against your will with little warning sometimes. Yeah, I swear I didn't stage this, the map really did throw me this way. Once we return to Gorrik one more time, you'll be surprised by this neat little debuff, and we won't be able to continue for 2 hours. I guess I should have explained it earlier that this process has a few time gates associated with it. So if you were planning to take care of this in a single big play session, it's just not going to happen. Anyways, this was a neat sign to stop and go to sleep to continue the next day.
It'll fetch a nice price.
After the 2 hours expire, you'll receive a mail from Gorrik. From now on, he'll stay on Sun's Refuge. You can enter from this instance portal in Jahai Bluffs. After we talk to him, we'll unlock the Saving Skyscales collection. This collection is composed of 12 other collections for a grand total of over 40 things to do. No, you can't run now. We are committed to this, you and I. I recommend that you follow the order written on the official wiki walkthrough, especially the part about getting first the Almora's directive buff that advances a collection by killing enemies, and the Dwyna's directive buff that advances other collection by resurrecting allies. But since we are talking about Dwyna's directive, the quest marker points to an incorrect part of the map that doesn't exist, and I did lose some time just thinking that there must be some kind of a stair or portal that I'm missing. Eventually I did some searching and found some 6-year-old Reddit thread talking about this. It's just a bug that was never fixed. And I know the wiki gives the right direction even if the NPC is a little hard to see under that little tent. You know, this is why I could never be an official partner for any game. I would be breathing down their necks every day for 6 years until they fix basic stuff like that. This unwillingness to go back and correct mistakes or bugs or even create common sense quality of life no matter how small is just not cool. Let's just leave it at that. Anyways, these buffs are account-wide, so if you want to change characters for variety's sake, you can do it. The Quattle was about to spawn, and there's always dead people, so I could get started by resurrecting a couple of... Well, that's just embarrassing. The rest of the collections will make you do a variety of things, like stepping on quicksand, get hit by lightning, fighting certain enemies, or getting blown away by a tornado. There were some other special moments during this collection. For example, for Courage in the Face of Oneself, I got tricked by another faulty quest marker that was positioned just right on top of a bounty board. This made me think that I had to complete a bounty. And sadly, I just wasn't strong enough to solo champions in time.
I am sorry, my mentor. I have failed you.
Also, the wiki just throws you boss names without clarifying that they are event bosses, not bounty bosses. That added to the confusion. I once again was really lucky that one of the necessary events started while I was there and I could complete that collection. Another one that was actually positive, it's the 3 unlocks on Derelict Delve. You know, that cave that people only visit to get the hero point and then get out? There's actually a mini dungeon in there. I never noticed that before. This is one of the best parts of Guild Wars 2 shining through. The open world is just superior. In other games like Final Fantasy, the outside maps might as well be a giant cube. The logic is easy. Get the key, open the door, get the collection, and find the other keys to open the other doors. And keep doing that until you get all 3 needed collections hidden in here. Having to pick up multiple keys one by one might be a little annoying, but I think this little detour was worth it. I also have the displeasure to announce that jumping puzzles have entered the chat. Okay, the hidden garden is not really that bad or difficult, but it can only be entered under certain conditions that might take a while to happen, so it can be a little annoying. Another thing that I can't forget is this little jump on Blaze Ridge steps. That looks difficult, but it's not really. If you have been avoiding the Skyscale as much as me, you're probably a master with the Springer. You and the bunny are one. There's no way we can fail this. I can still make it. Once this massive list of tasks is done, we are going to get another 2 hours of timeout.
It'll fetch a nice price.
When the time has passed, we can see that our Skyscale has been born. This next collection will be divided into 3 clear parts. The first one is Skyscale Care. Now is the time to grab the materials we've been saving and craft the 12 pieces of food. But I have some bad news. You can only feed the Skyscale 4 times per day. This is the biggest time gate in the whole quest. Note, however, that when I say per day, it's not literally 24 hours between feedings. It's once per daily server reset. So if you time yourself correctly, you could be done in 2 days instead of 3. It's not all that bad because you still can use all that time to farm the rest of the items. Also, I have to mention that when you select the food, your main action bar changes, and I swear it took me like a full minute to notice and understand how to feed the thing. Like, when I go to farm other stuff, you have no problem slapping me with a glowing text box every time. Could you have spared a little arrow or something for this? Okay, anyways. The second collection is Skyscale Treats. You have to hunt certain types of animals until they drop the quest item. The drop rate is pretty generous and there is a lot of options to where to go. For example, the wiki walkthrough sends you to some cave near the Priory to get bats, but you can just go to Queensdale and easily get some. The same for wyverns. You don't have to go to Verdant Brink if you don't want to. The treats have no time gate, so you can just give the Skyscale indigestion immediately. The last collection is Skyscale Toys. That will have you traveling and buying expensive toys. This is the part where we craft the grow lamp that I explained earlier in the video. Just like the treats, you can use all the toys immediately with no limit. It was funny how I planned my day around the server reset so I could play after feeding the Skyscale for the third and last time, only to have my legs swept by another Gorrik 2-hour waiting period. You just ruined my afternoon, dude. In the next mail from Gorrik, we'll find out that our Skyscale is now a rebellious teenager that escaped the house. When checking up on him, we'll be given an item called Extra Pungent Skyscale Treat. Basically what this does is completing a task by summoning the Skyscale without doing any of the hard work. You'll also be given a recipe to craft this item. The catch is that one of the materials has a flat cost of 4 gold. You can also buy this from the trading post for a bit over 5 gold. Basically, if you're willing to spend the money, you can avoid a lot of legwork on this one. And you're probably asking yourself, what kind of work? For starters, fighting certain world bosses. After the encounter is over, you need to find the Skyscale near the battlefield. Pretty simple, but a bit annoying. One thing that had me a little worried was that you also need to complete certain jumping puzzles. 7 of them, in fact. The Skyscale will usually be waiting close to the final chest, so you won't be skipping any of them. I pulled my Mesmer out of cold storage just to do this, but thankfully only a couple of them gave me a little trouble. Other highlight from this collection was solving the sand portal puzzle in Cormyr. I still don't know how the hell I did it. And another one was completing the path to Ascension again, but instead of leaving, we have to complete a mini jumping puzzle using the Raptor and the Springer. And the very last location was this point on the domain of Babi, where as soon as we reach the end of the road, an event boss will spawn. He doesn't do a lot of damage, so I guess it's possible to solo, but he has so much HP, I just used a special item to get it over with.
There you are.
With all tasks done, we return to Sunspear Refuge and we can play a couple of minigames with the Skyscale, a simple hide-and-seek game where you can cheat, and also playing catch with our new son. Of course, playing each minigame once would be too much common sense. We actually have to complete every minigame 3 times. After we're done, the waiting for Gorrik debuff will appear again. Things are not over yet, but the good news is that if you were careful enough to have every required item now, like I recommended at the start, then this is just going to be the victory lap. All we have to do is visit every vendor on the Living World Season 4 maps and buy the very expensive special item they have. The only minor difficulty is finding the NPC Historian Elisa, because she changes location every day and doesn't really have a quest marker, but it's nothing that can be solved by visiting the wiki. Once we get every item we need, visit Gorrik, who has moved into this location in Jahai Bluffs. When we talk to him, another collection will open up. Don't lose your spirits, we're almost done. We need to travel all over the world and close a grand total of 28 rifts. The logic is simple. We mount our Skyscale, find a rift, and get near it to close it. It should be really quick, especially if we use the wiki to know what waypoint is closer to the rift. The only difficulty is that the rifts can be hard to see with the naked eye, especially on maps full of special effects. I have to admit, some of them tripped me up more than I was expecting, but compared to all the previous frustrations, this wasn't really all that bad. And when I close the last rift, it's over. It's all over. The Skyscale is finally mine. You don't even have to go see Gorrik or anything. After getting our reward, we can finally... Oh no, wait, we have some masteries to level. We can't sleep yet. And that's it. This long quest is over. And I got more or less the experience I wanted. In the land of instant dopamine, a slow and steady climb with a quest that can take literally days is a nice change of pace. And at the same time, I can totally understand if vertical progression fans can't adapt. The chat horizontal progression is not for everyone. but still, I would recommend fans of the genre to try this. I don't know for how long I'm going to stick to Guild Wars 2, but at least I have the comfort of knowing I won't fall behind if I stop. Maybe now that I have lost the fear of long-term MMO projects, I'll start a Legendary soon, who knows. And hey, maybe this one video blows up and I become an MMO YouTuber. Yeah, right. Do the YouTube thing, subscribe, comment, hit the bell, press the hype, turn off restricted mode, dress like a chicken and jump through a ring of fire. I don't really care. See you in the next one.